Well, you see, music for me, doing this is just something I love doing. And I think even if I didn't actually make records, I would still sit and write songs and stuff at home. So I've just been given the chance to do something I really want to do in life and have all this really good time doing it and this good fun travelling all over the world and going to see all these towns. You know, if I didn't make records, I'd never come to Toronto. I would never dream of coming to Toronto. And to me, you know, every time I get a chance to go somewhere, I'm like a big kid, giving me plane tickets, and I'm off straight to the airport, fighting to get onto the plane first. So for me, it's just the best job in life, the best thing I could possibly be doing. It's great.
Our first interview tonight is with Ireland's Feargal Sharkey. This one-time member of the Undertones is currently enjoying huge North American success with his single A Good Heart, which topped the British charts for 2 weeks, and rightfully so. He was, after all, one of our pick artists for '86. As you'll soon see, this guy is a lot of fun. For Good Rockin', Nan Devitt talked to Feargal about his hometown.
The town where I used to live was a really small town west of Belfast, which people may recognise. And there was no sort of local bands or club scene or anything remotely to do like that. And we just did it for the hell of it. You know, it was me and 4 friends just sat down one day and said, okay, let's form a band. So we went out the next day, bought a guitar and bought a book which showed you how to play chords, and we formed a band. And we did it. And that band became the Undertones. So, you know, if we can do it from there. I think that's all we wanted to prove to people was that it could actually be done. And they always have hope and faith.
Wow, you didn't know when you were 8 that you had this amazing voice?
No, I just did it. I didn't even know. When my first album came out and all the critics were sort of kept going, wow, this guy's wonderful and such an amazing voice and things, I just, you know, what the hell's all this about? It's just me. Because, yeah, it always something I'd always done in the bath or, you know, walking down the street or in the car or whatever. I just always sung, you know, to the radio, singing along with my favourite records like everybody else. So I couldn't understand what all the fuss was about. Still can't really, come to think of it.
Happens all the time, it's gonna happen, happen, till you change your mind. It's gonna happen, happen, happens all the time. It's gonna happen, happen, till you change your mind.
It's essentially my first solo album since leaving a band called the Undertones, who 1 or 2 people may remember. And I was fortunate enough to enlist the help of a young gentleman called Mr. David Allen Stewart, more commonly known as Dave Stewart from Eurythmics, or the bearded one. And it was basically, I think for the 2 of us, it was quite a big step insofar as for me it was the first solo album. And for Dave it was the first full production he'd done outside of the Eurythmics, because he'd done sort of 1 or 2 singles and helped a few people in various tracks in their albums and things. But we just went crazy. That was basically it. And I think because, for those same reasons, it left us with enough scope to just do anything we wanted. And that's what we tried to do. So the album covers quite a broad cross-sections of music and things and styles. Some things which I never envisaged myself even trying. But we quite literally would go to the studio and just go, okay, what are we going to do today? Well, I heard this last night and that sounded quite good. Let's try and do something like that. And for me, it was just a really exciting time, because Dave is brilliant, to say the least. The guy just sits there and sort of spews out all this really good stuff all day long. And for the first few days, I was terrified, because he was just sitting there just going, wow, you know, I'll never keep up. How am I ever going to do it? And eventually, it actually turned into a little competition, in fact, between me and Dave, just trying to get sort of the better idea all the time. So Dave would think of something, I'd instantly go, nah, that's no good, that's bloody terrible, Dave, we've got to do better than that. But it all in the end up helped to create a better record, so it was okay.
What was your motivation? How did you decide to storyboard it?
I'd suddenly become bored stiff with musicians making complete prats of themselves, trying to look intense and profound. You know, we're musicians, we're not actors. And I think it's about time people stop trying to act, because I went through a stage of actually getting quite depressed about it. And now I sit and watch other people's videos and I just fall over laughing. I think it's really funny, watching people looking embarrassed. Because that's the thing that struck me the most. You can see the guys are embarrassed by what they've been told to do. And I felt with a song like A Good Heart, it just lent itself so easily to sort of, you know, nice pictures of a lakeside with little swans drifting past. And I just thought, yuck, I don't want any part of it. And I actually did, the one that sort of the most quoted story that a scripted director sent me was me going through a forest being pursued by Doberman pinchers and half the Red Army. I was like, what's that got to do with anything? You know, this is rock and roll. So I was just adamant, much against everybody's advice, that I would just stand on stage and play. That's all I wanted to do. And everyone kept saying, no, 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 this TV channel won't show it, and that program won't show it. You've got to look profound and gaze out through windows into the mists while the dodgy model waffles off across the hillside. And it's like, you know, all these sort of really ugly guys with these beautiful girls who in normal day life wouldn't have anything to do with one another. And they, you know. So David Mallet, in fact, was the first guy I met who just said to me, yeah, that's what we've got to go and do. Let's go and do that. And we've worked together ever since. We've now done 3 videos together, of which 2 you've yet to see. Something in store for you in the future.
Okay, get pencil and paper. This is quite weird, but here's Feargal with this week's trivia question.
Okay, you clever little peasants. How many bones in the human body?
Well, I guess I don't have to tell you that Feargal has definitely arrived. Yep, I guess if I had my own calendar, I could say the same thing about me. If you'd like to try your luck at winning one of these calendars or a cassette of Feargal's self-titled album, there's the address, and you know Feargal's weird question. Now start counting your bones and then drop me a line. I love receiving letters. Okay, time to check out this week's top 20 singles from coast to coast. New at 20, Fine Young Cannibals. Number 19, The Cult. Down 10 to 18, Corey Hart. Down 7 to 17, Loverboy. New at 16, Jennifer Rush. Up 19 to 15, Falco. Up 17 to 14, Prince. Climbing 18 to 13, Pet Shop Boys. Down 5 to 12, Elton John. Up 15 to 11, Sly Fox. Up 11 to 10, Honeymoon Suite. Down 2 to 9, Heart. Up 13 to 8, Robert Palmer. Up 12 to 7, Bangles.
Just another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday.
Up 9 to 6, Rolling Stones. Climbing 8 to 5, Atlantic Star. Up 6 to 4, Feargal Sharkey. Up 4 to 3, In Excess. Up 3 to 2, John Cougar Mellencamp. For a second week, number 1, Glass Tiger. Coming up, The Cult, my interview with Opus, and some U2, Double, and Clonade, as Good Rockin's European Special continues. Falco is not the only successful artist out of Austria these days. How about Opus? The Live is Life single sold some 2.5 million copies after hitting high on the charts in West Germany, France, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Greece, and Canada. Well, in LA, I talked with Nicky and Wally, who had just arrived from Mexico City, about their extensive tour of the world.
We played in Caracas in Venezuela twice. We played in Chile and Guatemala in Mexico. And these audiences are completely different to all the audiences in Europe, because South America, Latin America, people are very enthusiastic, and they're not only jumping up and crying and clapping, and they also make big fires, you know. They make in the middle of a concert hall, they make big fires and jump through the fires, and they take all the papers, they grab all the papers they can get in the hall. Then they make such a big, I don't know the English word no, they grab it together and lit it.
A torch.
A torch, yes. They make big torches and wave the torches, you know, and there are lots of policemen there and
Doing the same.
wearing guns, and everybody's happy, and they're jumping around their fires and through their fires, and
Wow.
nothing happened. I mean, nothing tragic happened. It's a great feeling. Life is Life is now, I think,
100 years?
maybe more. It seems to be more to us because we've been on tour now for 1.5 years, but I think it's wonderful that you have, after 13 years of steady work, such a big hit. People grab all the good albums. We have lots of good songs on 6 albums. And we had some kind of a birthday party celebrating the 11th birthday of Opus. And we did this party in a big stadium in the hometown of 3 guys of Opus in Burgenland in Austria. And this was a big party, wonderful live concert, and Ewald, the guitar player, wrote a song for the people to clap their hands, to sing with us, na 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 na, you know. And we didn't expect that to be a hit. What came out was a hit, you know. It was 7 weeks in Austria, #1. Then it went over to Germany, 7 weeks #1 in Germany, and went over to France, to Italy, to Spain, to England. Every country in Europe we made a #1 hit, got golden records and platinum records. And then we came over to South America. We had a little tour, and we are having a tour now in South America. And then we came to Canada, and we're very, very happy to know that we have 3 times platinum in Canada now. And we've been, I think, now for 12 or 13 weeks #1 in Canada with Life is Life. It gives a great pleasure to us because we love Canada a lot. I mean, we've made friends to Saga, and they are wonderful guys. We met them in Düsseldorf, and I had the pleasure to talk about them about 4 hours to them, to the Crichton brothers. It's a lot of good feeling coming from Canada, I think.
Now, the name, what does Opus call the song? Is it called Life is Life, or is it called Live is Life? What do you call it?
Live. It's live.
Because the thing behind is playing live is our life, you know.
Okay.
Because the band has been together for 13 years, playing most of the time live music, you know.
If in the event that Live is Life becomes a big hit in America, and we certainly hope it does, would you consider moving here?
At the moment, it's very strange. As I told you before, we've been on tour now for 1.5 years, and there are so many things happening because this success was coming over the group very unexpected, you know. And there's so many things in Austria to check, and you come home for 2 days to change your suitcase, to change your clothes, you know. You even have no time to do any things. I can pay my bills, and try to do the best within 3 or 4 days, and then I have to pack and to do the next tour. This is a problem. So sometimes we're talking in the bus or in the aeroplane about what we're gonna do in the future and things. I think we can't do any definitely plans. We cannot make plans now because the success is going on and on and on. We have to tour and we play together, and at the moment we're at home in hotel rooms, in aeroplanes, on stage, which is our life, and it's very hard to say what we're gonna do in about the next years. Maybe sometime we'll settle or things like that, but I don't know yet.
In their native England, they started out as a Southern death cult and shortened it to the Death Cult, and now they are just the Cult. Currently on tour across Canada and enjoying great airplane chart success with their single She Sells Sanctuary from the Gold Plus Love album. Now, while the Cult was in Toronto recently, Nan Devitt for Good Rockin' talked to Ian and Billy and talked to them about the numerous labels that have been put on the band.
We have a very simplistic attitude to what we do. I think a lot of the labelling and the philosophising comes from outside the band and people's perceptions of what we do.
Yeah, it's not something we've fed to the media, say, right, people, media, you know, we are psychedelic, revivalist band and all that crap. That's something they've made up
We do
themselves.
just whatever comes into our heads, you know, and people pick up different things of it, and the hippie thing, because we wear beads, or sometimes, you know, like, we're not wearing them today, doesn't really matter. I think people just pick up on different aspects of what we do. It's a little bit confusing for people, I should imagine, the general public who want to really just enjoy the music when they're trying to just get basic information about the band. And I'm sure they're very confused. Confuses me. Well, I mean, you know, lots of things influences. We're open to influences. There's been like 25 years of rock music, you know, and I'm a fan of music. Therefore, there's been a lot of things. I just maybe say the simplest way is we both are more fans of the innovators in music, rap music. Yeah, rather than perhaps people who just try to emulate somebody's success. We go for the meat of the matter. In Britain, kids take music a lot more seriously. There's a lot less going on in Britain other than music. There's a lot of bands, there's a lot of concert halls. It's quite an important part of everybody's life in Britain. There are less alternatives.
So that's sort of like bars and cafes to go and hang out and stuff like that. The only thing really is concerts, and that's all.
So they take it, you know, kids really like it. That's their fun, is going around to following around like 26 concerts by the Cult. You know, a lot of kids really get off on it, and we've had kids come over from America and from France, all around Japan, coming over to England. The ones from Japan came all the way from Japan, they couldn't even get into the shows because they were sold out, and they're so polite they didn't even ask anybody from the band or the crew that if they could get in.
And come all the way from Japan.
To see some of our British tour in November, which is a bit of a sad story, but let's say something for the Japanese mentality. We package ourselves.
We do our own thing.
We've, yeah, I mean, I suppose in some respects we're different to a lot of bands that we've got different record companies in different parts of the world. We're actually on an independent label in Britain called Beggars Banquet. We're on Polygram in Canada. We have deals, but everything basically goes through Beggars Banquet in England. So we're in control. We have a relationship with the boss of that company. And we choose what singles we release. We do the artwork for the sleeves. We basically do everything, tour merchandise, the video. We pretty much do this. There isn't a storyboard for our videos. We just like jump up and down a bit, but you know, we design the kind of thing. We get involved with artists and people, but they act under our instructions. So therefore, we've got a great deal of control over what we do, and also to a certain degree, the companies that we're with throughout the world lend themselves a little bit towards being, their roots, shall we say, like Sire in America, their roots were an independent company. Polygram's different in Canada, that's part of a conglomerate thing, but Virgin Records in Europe started off as a record shop in England that grew a bit. So we gravitate towards those people who started off independently and have been wise enough to be able to take on bigger business and be realistic. And it keeps an element of control. You know, we don't have people running around portraying us as being whatever and not really getting it from the band. We like to keep on top of it.
ABBA trivia answer time. In 1975, ABBA beat out Sweden's best export, the Volvo. How many of you got it? Speaking of trivia, here are a couple of reminders. First up, AHA.
A lot of the magazines spell Magnus' surname wrong. We pronounce it in Norwegian, Fudu Holmen. How do you spell that?
We've got 4 of these specially framed autographed photo animation and gold single combinations, as well as 20 cassettes of Hunting High and Low for the lucky winners. And with a little research, you can probably answer Robert Palmer's question.
What was the name of the guitarist who played slide bottleneck guitar from California, who worked on my first 2 albums?
Now, the prizes are either cassettes or albums of Riptide, which, of course, includes Addicted to Love. Next up, Animotion with their question.
Hi, I'm Bill.
And I'm Don.
We're from Animotion. We've got a trivia question for you. There was a 1983 movie that had the song Obsession in it. Do you know what it is?
Winners will receive both the autographed Language of Love album plus their latest Strange Behavior. Now, finally, Glass Tiger.
Trivia question is, the album's called The Thin Red Line, and it deals with what British regiment? And I'll give you a clue. Check out the cassette.
The boys are offering autographed posters, albums, or cassettes of The Thin Red Line.